Auburn is coming off of a 34-10 loss to Georgia. And if you listen to a lot of fans right now, there's a ton of people who are saying our season is over. And I disagree with that. I think it's far from over. What I do know is that every single one of you that are saying this need to
stop whining.
Welcome back to Infinite Auburn, and the first thing I want to talk about today is just some of the key takeaways I have from watching the Auburn-Georgia game yesterday. The first thing that I noticed is that Auburn seems to be just allergic to catching the football. We have a huge problem with dropping passes, and that was evident yesterday when we had, I think, about 6 dropped passes in the first half alone. Coming into the game, Auburn led the SEC in drop passes with about 16, and we did not do ourselves any favors yesterday at all. I have multiple players dropping passes with at least Schenker, Shivers, Robertson, Shedrick Jackson, and I know there were more that I did not actually write down. But we had a ton of guys dropping passes, and there's really no excuses for that. We fired our wide receivers coach, Cornelius Williams, because our receivers have done so poorly this season. We have a new guy who stepped in who was on as an offensive analyst, but I have not seen any improvement so far. So I'd like to know, what are we doing about this? What are we doing about all these drop passes? Because it's got to be fixed. We've got a lot of season left, and we have to be able to pass the ball and catch the ball. There's a lot of blame that can be placed on different factors. People want to blame the quarterback, Bo Nix. I think he has certain things we can blame him for and be upset about. One of those things being he overthrew many passes, or he continues to overthrow passes when we have wide open wide receivers. He runs out of the pocket still when it's not necessary. There was one time yesterday where I saw Bo run out of his protection straight into an area where there's a ton of pressure. Don't understand why that happened. But we're not doing Bo any favors. He is hitting the hands of so many receivers. And when that happens, they need to catch the ball. Yeah, there were a couple that were zipped a little too quick. There was one to Shivers that I remember that was a little too fast, but at the same time, Shivers is a senior. He should be catching these balls. He shouldn't be dropping 2 almost right in a row. So we've got to help out our quarterback and catch the ball. On a bright note, Kobe Hudson looks pretty great. He seems to be the only guy out there that is a consistent receiver. Before that, I would have said Schenker. He had an incredible game against LSU. But even yesterday, Schenker was dropping passes. So Kobe Hudson was a bright spot. Tank looked pretty good. But, ultimately, I don't know what the answer is to our receiver problem. How do we stop from dropping so many passes? There are some guys that we've not seen much from, and I still don't understand why. What happened to Canyon? What happened to, who's that guy we got from West Virginia? Was it Drayshawn Miller? Where did he go? It just seems like there's some players missing in action, and I have no clue where they are. And we've got a wide receiver problem. We've got a drop pass problem, and I don't see any solution on the horizon for this. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is going to fix this problem? Do you think it's a quarterback problem or a receiver problem? You can't just say quarterback because he is hitting some of these guys in the hand, or a lot of these guys in the hands. So how do we fix it? The other thing that was noticeable is that we had problems all over the place. We had our issues with our offensive line. We were getting pushed around like nobody's business. Georgia their defense is incredible, and that was obvious yesterday by how much they just absolutely pushed us around. We had issues on our defensive line. I think that was more second half than first half. They just got worn down and tired. Once that happened, Georgia was able to run all over us. And then we're also having issues in our secondary. And once again, that was clear by how easily they were able to pass the ball on us. Think about some of those plays you saw where our secondary got burned, where we had just complete mismatches in height. And I don't know how we're expecting McCreary to guard that guy, because he had no chance. He could just stand there and catch the ball. McCreary really couldn't do anything about it. And when he did try, he gets called for pass interference, which I still think was a little questionable. But we're just having issues all over the place, and we have a lot of work to do. Ultimately, I think what we learned yesterday is that Georgia is the real deal. They are the best team in college football right now. And if you've not done so already, it's time to show them some respect because they are a fantastic football team. Now getting back to my original point for this video was the fact that we have so many Auburn fans right now who are just acting like our season's over, we've lost 2 games, so there's nothing to play for. And I think that is absolutely ridiculous. First of all, look at who we lost to. We lost to a number 4 Penn State team at Penn State at night when it was a whiteout game. And we only lost by 8 points. Keep in mind, one of the reasons we lost that game was because of a trick play that was tried right after the half, and it did not go as planned. Went very poorly. Had a different decision been made, we might have seen a different outcome. So that was a close game at 20-8, and it was to a top 5 team. Now look at our second loss to Georgia yesterday. Once again, it was a top 5 team. Georgia was ranked number 2. It's clear now they should be ranked number 1. And did we play as well as we could have? No. But what was the biggest difference in that game? It was dropping the ball. There were so many times, we just left all kinds of points on the field. Look at the pass to Shanker in the end zone. Hit him in the hands. If he caught that, it would have been 7 instead of 3. So we left a ton of points on the field. We left, there's so many yards we could have gotten, and we left them. So our best case scenario right now is to be 10-2 on the season. I think that would be a fantastic season if we could do that, but we have a long road ahead of us. But we have some good games coming up. We've got Arkansas, we've got Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas A&M. A lot of good games left, a lot of things we can do to make this a fantastic season. The craziest thing is that Auburn is still in it. We have a chance to win the SEC West. With Alabama's loss to Texas A&M last night, we're now in this thing. If we win out, we could actually go to the SEC championship, and that's a lot to play for. Yeah, we've got a hard road ahead of us, with Arkansas, at Arkansas next week, and everything else that we have ahead of that. But the season's not over, guys. Beyond that, think about everything that's happened so far. Harsin did something that's not been done in 22 years. Beat LSU at LSU in Death Valley, and that has not happened since 1999 under Tuberville. So let's be happy about that. But beyond that, we can ruin some seasons for other teams. That's fun. And we can also try to get some experience for our players for next season. And then on top of that, guys, we can just try to win every game we can and ultimately try to get into the SEC championship. We've got a lot of room to grow, a lot of things to improve on, but let's see what happens. So with that in mind, I want everybody to quit whining, quit saying our season is over, subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, and most importantly,
stop whining.